Hello and welcome to Industria's manual handling safety video. Proper manual handling techniques are absolutely key in all that we do, and whilst working in a warehouse, for example, correct manual handling will help you have a healthier lifestyle. Remember, we all have a responsibility for our own health and safety. So always remember your own safety first and your colleagues to follow that. So manual handling is lifting, lowering, pushing, pulling, carrying and moving by hand or other bodily force. Before lifting any object, it's important that we understand what we are going to lift. So we test the load. Place one foot against the side of the box and see if you can move it freely. Bend down or kneel down beside the box and test the corners. We're looking for an even load. We don't want to be imbalanced. Remember as well, your PPE. Sometimes some items may need you to wear gloves. Your supervisor or team leaders will provide those for you should you request them. Once we've assessed the load, we can then think about how we're going to lift it safely. Remember, you don't have to have the box in the position it is in, on the pallet, on the floor or on the shelf. You can manipulate the box to make it as comfortable for you as you possibly can. Bearing in mind, we need to keep the load as close to our body as we can, and then we are not exerting too much energy whilst carrying the load. And always remember, if the load is too heavy for you, do not pick it up. Seek assistance from a colleague. Find a pallet truck or any other means of mechanical aid that can prevent you injuring yourself and making the job easier for you using a mechanical aid. Plan your route. It is always important, if you're going to pick a box up and carry it, that our route that we're going to take is clear, free from obstruction. And where you're going to place the item down must also be clear of obstruction, so you can have a smooth put down of the item that you've just carried. Now we're going to lift the load. The plan is easy. Stop, think and act. So stop, look at what you're going to do and look at where you're going to move the item to. Think about your actions. Remember, like I said earlier, we only have one back. Don't damage it. Take care whilst lifting. Thinking about what you're doing is very important. And then we're going to act. So now we're going to lift the item. Place one foot either side of the load. Kneel down. Test the load as we mentioned before. If you're happy with the load, make it fit into your arms as comfortably as you possibly can. Remember, your feet should only be a shoulder width apart, and the last thing you do before you stand is lift your head and look forward. This will automatically keep your back straight. Once you've lifted your head and you stand smoothly using the powerful muscles in your thighs and your buttocks, and you're in the upright position, walk off to where you need to go to. In an ideal world, if you can face the direction you want to travel before lifting, this would prevent twisting injuries. When you've got to the location you're going with the item you've just moved, we need to put it down. Putting down process is exactly the same as lifting it, however, it is in reverse. You may only need to put the box down a few inches, so therefore there is no strain on your upper body. Simply bend your knees until the item that you are putting down sits comfortably on the shelf, on the other boxes, or indeed on the pallet that you want to put it on. And remember, there may be a time when you need to do a team lift, so where you get a colleague to help you lift a long or awkward item. But this time you need to prepare, so you lift equally together. And by lifting equally together, you are avoiding back injuries to both you and your colleague. It is recommended that we use simple words like prepare to lift and lift. Keep it simple. If you can't find help from a colleague, use a mechanical aid, but always check the equipment before you use it. If you've never used the equipment before, seek advice and guidance from your supervisor or team leader, and they will show you how to use the equipment correctly. Remember, pushing is always better than pulling. However, what you must always think about is, can you see where you're going? If you can't, then think about the demonstration we've just done in moving that load with the pallet truck. We pull off equally using both hands on the handle. Once the item is moving, you then turn and guide the pallet with one hand. This will enable you to be in a nice straight position and prevent twisting, and importantly, prevent you from bumping into a colleague and causing them injury if we can't see where we're going. Always remember, it is your back. You only have one. Once it's damaged, it never mends. And often we can do things to our back without even realising. And the smallest of tasks, some weeks, months or even years later, can cause your back to have a significant injury. But it's not then when you've done it, it's when you were unexpecting it, years, months or weeks earlier. So think, a healthy back is a healthy lifestyle. Thank you. Enjoy your work.